In fact, he's traveled all the way from Algeria to be with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Special Agent Wagner was a student at Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, where he received a Boren Scholarship to study Arabic in Jordan in 2009. His time overseas and his dedication to his studies increased his language capabilities to such an extent that when Mr. Wagner began his career in diplomatic security, not only did he walk into the Foreign Service Institute Testing Center and test it out without needing further classroom instruction, he became one of the youngest agents in the agency. As a 22-year-old with no prior experience in the military or with the police, Mr. Wagner received the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center's Academic Award, which goes to the top academic performer from each class. He later won the Top Shot Award for being the best marksman across 7 different weapons platforms in his firearms instructor course this spring. You may have missed your natural college. That's pretty impressive. Special Agent Wagner currently serves as Assistant Regional Security Officer at the U.S. Embassy, Algiers, Algeria, where he advises the ambassador on all security matters and manages a complex range of security programs. And Special Agent Wagner supervises 3 units, which account for approximately 140 of the embassy's 200 local security employees. He is also responsible for analyzing and reporting all security incidents which threaten U.S. government interests in Algiers. The Honorable Henry Enscher, Ambassador to the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, praised Special Agent Wagner by stating, "To this day, even as the threat of terrorism has again come to the forefront of current events in this part of the world, Matt continues to excel and give our diplomatic community confidence that we're safe. It is particularly noteworthy that he has been able to make so significant a contribution. I am pleased to present the 2013 Howard Baker Jr. Award for Exemplary Federal Service to Special Agent Matthew Wagner."
It would be great if you could say a few words. Yes, please do.
You want me to write something?
Do you have it?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that introduction, Dr. Junor. It's an honor to be here, and it's a particular honor for me to be recognized in the company of the people in this room. Just reading the list of where you studied and what you studied is staggering. I do have to say it is very uncomfortable for me in a room like this to be at the podium talking rather than tucked away somewhere watching the person at the podium. But I'll do the best I can. So I want to start, if that's okay, I wrote what I wanted to say down so I wouldn't forget it. I want to start by thanking my bosses in Algiers, Deputy Regional Security Officer Scott Reef and Regional Security Officer Nicole Deal, as well as the front office at our embassy, for letting me miss a few days of work to come here for this event. I'd also like to thank 3 really outstanding people who took time away from their own jobs to be here with me this afternoon. My college roommate, Matt LaMagna, one of my oldest friends in the world, Kat Light, and my DS mentor, Special Agent Lori Darlow, have encouraged me and supported me from the time that doing this kind of work was just a dream to when I was working my butt off to try to make it happen, to when I actually was a DS agent and realized I had no clue what to do with myself anymore. My family's far away and couldn't be here, but each one of those 3 is as good as family to me, and I'm really grateful that you're here, so thank you. So when I was thinking about what to say today, because they told me to find something to say today, it occurred to me that there were kind of 4 things worth talking about. I'm going to say a few words about the Boren program itself, then a little bit about what I do now. I'll, of course, talk about how the Boren program has impacted my life and my work as a DS agent, and then I'll finish up with a thought or two for those just entering the field now from school. So I first heard about the Boren Scholarship at an information session when I was a freshman in college. and I knew immediately this thing was for me. Free money to go study what I wanted to study, where I wanted to study it, and a requirement that made it easier to get a job in the field I'd always wanted to work in. Sounded fair. But what I've learned since completing the program is that while it's structured around the learning of languages, the real value comes from the complementary learning that happens outside the classroom. You experience and internalize cultures and lifestyles and perspectives different than your own, and you cultivate an ability to accept the different and the strange as equally valid as the things that you've known and assumed for your whole life. Maybe street names and painted lines in the road really aren't that important, and what makes chicken all that different from pigeon? The Boren program fills your mind with new knowledge, but it also opens your mind, and it gives you the capacity to learn new knowledge in a different way than you ever could before, and to put that knowledge to use in the service of your country. I've been extremely lucky to have had the opportunities that I've had in my career so far. I was hired by DS right out of college into a training class where the average age was 30. I knew full well that I was hired because I could speak some foreign languages and because DS believed that they could trust me to operate competently in an overseas environment. I believe that my experience as a Boren Scholar formed the bedrock of that trust. In the 2 years since I've joined DS, I've been lucky enough to travel all over the world protecting American foreign diplomats. I've had a front seat to history. I've chatted with an ambassador in his native language as his foreign minister waited for a flight after the NATO conference. I've been given a tie by the Secretary General of an international organization and leftover pizza in the middle of the night in a foreign country by then Secretary Clinton. That happened. I was on the tarmac when leaders of the new Tunisian government made their first official visit to the U.S. after the Arab Spring, and I've been asked about 100 times while driving motorcades in New York City, hey, is that President Obama? No. Not President Obama, I'm sorry. Never will. Those have been some of my coolest experiences in my time with DS so far, but stories like those are by no means a part of this job that means the most to me. I get to wake up every morning and know that no matter what, my work that day will help advance American interests and protect human life. That is profoundly rewarding, and it's made better by the fact that my American and foreign colleagues are some of the most dedicated and inspirational people I've ever had the pleasure to know. My Boren experience is particularly relevant to my current assignment in Algiers. The language thing helps, both with our staff at the embassy and with contacts in the Algerian government and the public. But as I said, the other skills I learned abroad are just as critical. I knew French and Arabic about equally well by the time I graduated from college, but they were both equally useless about 3 months ago when I walked into a storage room full of people praying the Dhuhr one afternoon. Thankfully, I knew not to interrupt them and just to go outside, shut the door, and wait. Those who've lived in the Middle East during Ramadan know that a little cultural understanding goes a very long way during that holiday. A very long way. And in a former French colony, situated right between Arab Spring territory and the home of Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, an understanding of the way recent trends reflect and impact historical realities is vital. Having been a Boren Scholar makes me better at what I do. It allowed me to learn and make mistakes as a student when the stakes weren't nearly as high as they are now. It allowed me to join the foreign affairs world with a knowledge base that few are fortunate enough to have at that early stage. And it motivated me to learn as much as I possibly could from my time as a student abroad, because I knew that I'd be drawing on it for years to come. The Boren program made a lasting and meaningful impact on my life, and it continues to pay dividends every day. I hope very much that the rest of you Boren program participants will have public service careers as meaningful and rewarding as mine has been so far. Work hard to maintain fluency in whatever languages you speak, because as I'm sure most of you already know, they are incredibly perishable. Find mentors and support networks wherever you can. Practice your languages often, watch movies, and read the newspapers. When it comes to your careers, do what you can to allow yourselves to fully enjoy the present, but never lose sight of what is 1 and 5 and 10 years down the line. And above all else, above everything, never forget the reason you're doing what you're doing. Protecting and educating others are two of the most dignified and honorable vocations there are, and even on the bad days, you will find strength and peace in remembering the bigger mission to which you are contributing. This being such an international service-themed lunch, I thought I'd close with a quotation from John Kerry, former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and our current Secretary of State. He said earlier this year, If we are going to bring light to the world, we have to go where it is dark. That is the meaning of service, and that is what American diplomacy has always been about. Shukran jazilan, and thank you very much.